Shalom, this is R Avraham Shira for Patreon and Journey to the Ultimate Self. I was asked to make a few comments about the 3 weeks. And the 3 weeks began on the 17th of Tammuz with the breaking of the first set of the 10 commandments, the stone tablets that Moses brought down from Har Sinai, from the mountain. And they were broken at the site of the golden calf. Now, one of the things that the rabbis teach us about this event was that memory itself was broken from Am Yisrael. The perfect memory that had been restored at the giving of the Torah was lost. And perfect memory means perfect collective memory, that a group of people remember an event with accuracy, with intimacy, and with support for each other's version of the story. When that version of the story is broken, which is what memory is essentially each person's version of a story, when it's broken into pieces, then our collective memory is no longer unified. So why is that dangerous? Why is that something to mourn? And why are we mourning that now? Well, 3,600 years ago when the Torah was given, the Jewish people received an identity. And we feel that it is a very important identity that God gave us. And so we are in the business of restoring and keeping and protecting and guarding our memory. And that's why we have these fast days, and that's why we recall things as terrible as the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, or the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash in our generation, which is, of course, the Holocaust. Now, what happens when memory is lost? Well, besides the fact that we lose that collective vision of the past that helps project us into the future, we lose identity, and that means we lose direction. We lose a sense of self. We can lose, even from here, a sense of purpose, a sense of our mission, and the sense of meaningfulness that we derive from life. When those things are taken, what's left in a person? And that is something truly to mourn. Now, this desire to live, to exist, to survive is planted within us. But without meaning, without goal, without purpose, why would we want to endure the struggles and the hardships that we find in this lifetime? Well, the Rebbe of Piazetzna, the Eish Kodesh, tells us that when he was in the midst of the Holocaust, in the camps facing certain death, he had to hold on. And he writes, I had to hold on to give strength to others so that they could hold on. And that he understood he was going to die, but he still had to hold on to himself and hold on to the not giving in to hysteria, despair, and depression, but rather to be strong and firm that this death is meaningful and purposeful. And by doing so, he did give strength to others. And their strength was given to others, and their strength was given to others, until today you have busloads of high school and college students going to Poland to see these camps. What are they going to Poland for, to see these camps for? To remember death, devastation, dehumanization? No, they're going there to discover identity, to discover what it means to be a Jew, and to enter into the mystery of the Jewish journey and the Jewish mission. Now, there's a lot of pain on the way, and that's another reason why we mourn, because mourning is actually the antidote to pain. Feeling the pain is the way to process and elevate the pain. So these 3 weeks have been dedicated by the rabbis for this process of mourning, but it's not a mourning that leaves us bereft and empty and despairing. It's a mourning that leaves us whole and unified and recommitted to our purpose, our direction, and the meaningfulness that there is in a Jewish life. And when this happens, guess what? A miracle takes place. The Rebbe Nachman teaches that the act of memory is a miracle, because the nature of nature is to forget. Human beings are gifted with a memory that can remember thousands of years ago. And that is above nature. And when we remember the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, the breaking of the Ten Commandments, the translation of the Torah into pagan languages, we are rising above time. And when we rise above time, we're rising above nature, and we are essentially bearing witness to the supernatural source of the Torah and the source of the Jewish people. So that gives me strength. And the famous verse, Ko'avei Hashem yachlifu koach, those who have faith in God will exchange power, is exactly what the Piazetzner Rebbe was teaching us. That when you exchange your power, when you give your power to something as difficult as standing up to the Nazis, you draw new power into the world for others. So every struggle becomes a communal struggle and a purposeful, meaningful event. And if you struggle alone and you're disconnected and you have no place to turn and you don't feel part of something greater than yourself, that's when the real mourning begins. So I want to bless us to renew our commitment to this Jewish identity. It is what we have, it is what we've been given, it is our true inheritance, and it will stand up for us until the end of days, and it will never let us down. So I hope that we can find the joy at the end of the mourning, and the joy, of course, is in the rediscovery of who we truly are. So look for us on Patreon and join the ultimate journey. The journey to the ultimate self. God bless all of you, and we'll see you soon.